The video I'm about to show you comes from a live stream that I did earlier today. I cut it out and I'm posting it as a video because it's very important. I want everybody to see it because there's a scam that's being run on truck drivers right now that it's a little different twist on it. And if you don't know about this, you're highly likely to have it happen to you. And a gentleman named Lawrence came on and talked about his whole experience. They got him twice. But luckily he was good enough to sniff it out, and I want you to learn from his experience. So please listen to everything Lawrence has to say, because right away you're thinking, broker scam. Yeah, I hauled some freight for him. They disappeared, didn't pay. There's a lot more to it than that. This is a pretty good one, and I'm not convinced that I might not have fallen for it myself. So share this out. If you got social media, share it on Facebook, share it in trucker groups, share it on YouTube if you have a channel. We need every truck driver to know about this and see it so that we can put a stop to it. And if you know of any other scams going on like this, let's put them out there. Times are tough right now. Money's tight. We need to be helping each other not get scammed, because if it's happening to one of us, it's bad for all of us. So share this out. Listen to everything this man has to say, because it might save you tens of thousands of dollars. They almost got away with it. And one broker he talked to said they estimate as many as 20% of the loads on the market right now are being run under this scam. That's a lot of loads. So you definitely need to know about this. Lawrence is here, first time coming in. He emailed me and wanted to talk about scammer brokers and some shenanigans that's going on. So appreciate you. Tell everybody what you want to tell them, because I want to hear it too.
Yeah, what happened was, how you doing, first of all, Adam?
Good. Thanks. I'm glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you also. Yeah, I've been a long time watcher, and I love your content. So,
oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, you're doing great. And what happened was, the other day, I got a call from a broker from DHL, and he offered me a load out of Florida for great money, you know. And then when I got the load, I started, looking at the bill of lading, and I realized, there was something fishy about it. So I did a little investigation, and I found out that they were fraudulently using DHL's identity to give loads out. But DHL has nothing to do with it. Yeah.
So how did you figure that out?
It's just they seemed unprofessional. They had like there was something fishy about them. They had no idea what the load was, and when you talk to the broker, they kind of know some details, but they had no idea. And I kind of got lucky, and I figured out that what they're doing is they're taking the load for real cheap.
Okay.
And then they're offering the load for double the money to carriers.
Because they have no intention of paying you.
Because they have no intention of paying you.
Yeah, I've always said that. Like, what good is it if a broker offers you $10,000 if they have no intention of paying you?
Yep, and they're not using a company that's under their name. They're using a different company that's that's well known, like DHL. So I'm like, okay, let me book the load. And then later, I found out that it was completely fake. The load was real. They were buying it, from a broker.
Right.
Yeah, and I called the original broker. The name was on bill of lading, so I called them and I figured out he sold it to a company, which the company sold it to them, and then they brokered it. They sold it to me.
So you contacted DHL direct.
But DHL wouldn't answer me. I called them like 20, 30 times. They wouldn't answer me. So I called my factoring company, and then she did a little more digging. She's like, Lawrence, I'm not sure about the load. I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. And then after I called the broker, he's like, oh, it's not supposed to be double brokered and stuff like that. And then he contacted DHL, and he found out that they have nothing to do with this load. Completely, they have nothing to do with this load.
So the scammer didn't even get the load from DHL?
No, he doesn't work for DHL. He acted like he was, a broker for DHL, but he wasn't.
So it wasn't even, if you tracked it back, it wasn't even a DHL load. Did you find out whose load it was?
Yep. So what happens is after I deliver the load, what am I going to send my bill of lading? I'm going to send it to DHL. They're going to tell me, oh, this has nothing to do with us.
Right.
So when they collect the money from the broker, from the original broker, and I get nothing. And then I started looking into my, my old bill of ladings, my rate confirmations, and I started calling every single broker to reconfirm that, it was originally theirs. And I found a bill of lading from about a month ago, from Pam Transport. Same exact thing happened to me. What happened was I called the shipper and I figured out that the original broker is C.H. Robinson.
Okay.
So I contacted C.H. Robinson. After a few days, their scam department or something contacted me and they're like, okay, they, thank God they put a hold on that load. I took that load for 8,200 and they're telling me, oh, they sold the load for 5,800. I took it
Wow.
from Ohio to Washington, to Sumner, Washington. So that was fake. So I contacted Pam, and Pam told me that they had nothing to do with this load. Also, same thing. But luckily I got they put a hold on that account, and they paid me the 5,800, even though I lost a little bit of money. But at least I
Right.
didn't lose it all. And then as I was talking to the guy, he's telling me he's getting the past 3 months almost 20% of the loads that are going out are fake loads.
God.
And it got me thinking, what happened with the rates is how they dropped so low. Is That's the reason why they dropped so low, because you got these people that are taking the loads for $2,000 that none of us would do for $2,000,
Right.
or 1,500 or whatever. That's why the rates drop so low, because you got 20% of them being bought by these scammers, and then
Right.
the routes sold to us, and we're paying
So
for the fuel, we're paying for the expenses, but we're not getting any of the money.
so where did you find, was this load posted on a load board, or let's just
No,
talk
I
about
got a
the most
call.
recent one?
It was DAT. I got off DAT
Mm,
board.
because where I was going with that is you have to have a legit MC number and some company information to even get an account on DAT.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if they didn't have that, they couldn't get it. So the only way they could find you is if you post your truck.
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
So if you post your truck and you get a call, uh, make sure to go on there and investigate and do some homework and make sure that it's a valid company. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure a lot of people would have caught that.
Yeah, I got lucky. I'm telling you, I got completely lucky, and that's what made me figure it out. If I would have waited a little bit longer, I would have lost, basically
Oh my
both.
god!
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
the thing, Adam, is I called the FBI. I reported it. I called everybody, and I called the Department of Transportation. I'm like, if you guys do it where these brokers that are giving out the loads, they make sure that whoever they're selling the loads to is legit and not a scammer, it'd make it a
yeah.
lot easier for us. Oh, it's none of our business. They sent me to FMCSA, and then everybody was sending me from one person to the next.
So
And I feel
could you go to CH Robinson and say, who did you sell this load to? Would they tell you?
no, they wouldn't tell me.
Um,
They would
can
not tell me.
do you have
And
do you have a
I
Robinson
feel like
load
all
number?
these brokers know. They know, but they don't really care. The load is getting done.
Right.
Whether it's from me or the scammer, and they're paying. At the end of it, if I figure it out, they're paying me that low rate. And if I don't figure it out, they're still paying that low rate. So they don't. None of them give a shit. You know.
They should, because it affects them.
It,
A fraudulent activity is taking place, and they're a part of it. And now that you made them aware, they're knowingly a part of it.
and
And
and the
if they
thing
don't
is,
do anything, they're complicit in it.
I guess nobody's doing anything,
Yeah,
Adam. To be honest with you, because
that's
if it got to the point where 20% of the loads are scams, I'm looking at it. One out of every 5 trucks is doing a load, and they're not getting paid for it. With
yeah.
fuel prices this high, you're paying on top of doing the load. You're paying 2 or 3 grand, whatever it is, on top of doing the load for free. And if I got lucky, I
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
wondering
It's
how
like
many
I
people
talked
got
about.
screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if a lot of people, the reason I'm kind of upset about this is, well, for a lot of reasons, obviously, but let's just say Robinson. I'm not picking on them, but whoever originally had the load, they are required to do due diligence before they give that load to anybody. So if you called me and said, Adam, I want your load from Wisconsin to Pennsylvania, here's what I do. I have it open right here on my screen. I go to carrier 411 and I put in, I'm just going to make up an MC number. Uh, I'll put that one in right there. And I'm looking at it right on the screen here in front of me. the company name, the DOT number, the MC number, I know looking at this screen whether or not they have a broker authority. Even if it's under a different MC number, it'll show me right here. And if they have a valid motor carrier number, if they even are a motor carrier, I can see how many pieces of equipment they have.
Yep.
And I have to do this before every load. So if the company that scammed you doesn't even have any trucks, they probably aren't. They're probably, do you suspect they're probably not even in this country?
I
Do you get
know,
that
yeah,
feeling from them?
they're definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were
They don't
calling me some numbers, and when I call back the numbers, it
Yeah.
it
So
started beeping at them.
the company that gave them that load originally did not do their due diligence, because it was a guaranteed double broker. If you're giving it to a company that doesn't have any trucks, well, how the hell do you think they're going to move it? They're going to double broker it.
Yep.
So they didn't do their homework, and Robinson has a reputation. They're a big brokerage. They should be aggressively dealing with this, because they should be, by watching out for us, they're watching out for themselves, because that load could have been stolen and never seen again. They can't have that happen. They'd have to buy that load. That's upsetting. I have a rep that I'm close to at Robinson. I'm almost tempted to ask him about it.
Yeah.
But if you want me to, if you just email me the load number, I'll ask him about it, see what I can find out. But
Yeah,
they need to give that name up, and it needs to be reported to DAT. It needs to be reported to everybody to get rid of these people. But the problem is they pop up again like a cockroach with a different name next week.
Yep.
And a big red flag is Southern California or Central California. I won't even, unless it is a major well-known brokerage, I will not even book a load with a broker out of that area. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have an A+ credit. I won't book it, because there's too many scams going on. And it's well known. I get emails all the time from law firms. Do you have any past due invoices with these 50 companies? If not, if so, get in on our lawsuit. It's not going to do any good. They're just making money for themselves. This is part of the problem in trucking. FMCSA, DOT, you think they ignore your convoys and your protests? They do. They don't give a damn. They don't care about their own laws even. They don't even care if you get paid. They will not look into this. You could call them 5 times a day about it. They don't care. They're not going to look into it. And I'm sure you've experienced that. Nobody, a lot of them probably wouldn't even take your claim, would they?
No, it's the funny thing. The minute I called DOT, I called the main office in Washington D.C. I thought basically I should warn them to warn other drivers, or do something about it.
Yeah.
And right away she knew exactly what I said. Oh, the scams. We don't deal with the scams. Call somebody else. We don't deal with scams. That's your area. You regulate everything on the driver, but you don't protect the driver from anything. What's your purpose? You're supposed to.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, they came out with a new rule to make it harder for companies to ditch their MC number and get a new one. Bad violators, where if you had a bad safety record, you could just ditch that one, start a new MC number, have a new company. They supposedly make it harder by saying people had to be vetted. Well, they're the ones vetting these people. They vetted that brokerage, give them an MC number, and now they're saying, we don't care. Well, what the hell good is your vetting in the first place then? You're not going by you're not obeying your own laws and your own regulations.
And to be honest with you, Adam, I think the easy solution is if they make the broker themselves responsible for this load. If we book it from a scammer, they gave it to that scammer.
They are responsible.
And then they should be responsible.
They are.
They're not. So they're giving us the rate they gave that broker. So that fake broker is buying it for less than market price.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't do anything about that.
It's so you end up getting screwed regardless, and they end up making the profit because even when they bought it from the shipper, when I was talking to the shipper paid a lot more than what they sold the load for.
Right.
Because fuel prices and you're driving a whole bunch of stuff. So they're getting. I feel like they really don't care.
No, they don't.
No.
A good shipper should care. Now they can't be held to pay twice. They can't be made to pay twice. So if they paid the original broker, they can't be held to pay you. If they did not pay the broker, they can be held to pay you. But unfortunately, they're probably going to give that same broker the same load next week.
Yep.
And they should care. If they gave that load to Robinson and they found out that Robinson let that happen and didn't do anything about it, and I'm not picking on Robinson, I'm just using a name.
Yep.
They should say, Robinson, until you clean this up and handle this and make sure this is not going to happen anymore, you're not getting any more loads from us. But they don't care as long as their freight got moved.
Yep. And I told you, it's the solution. I feel like, it's very simple solution. It's just basically if the broker themselves give the load out to a fake, scammer, because they got more, tools than us, to confirm that this person's legit. He's been in business for, years, and they're not supposed to double broker. I guess in the contract that, so if they contact us as drivers, they'll figure out, oh, we got it from this person, or they need to at least check up. Because when I take a load from TH Robinson, I gotta be tracked. They call me every day, but how come they're not calling this driver, or the person they sold the load to every day and confirming that he picked up the load where he picked it up from?
They could be running a tracking scam on them. You can spoof that.
How
they can see. I can have a pass-through thing as a brokerage that lets my customers see. So if I give a load to you and I have you on tracking, I can provide a link to the shipper or another broker that passes on your tracking to them. So that could be what they're doing.
Yeah, but the thing is that broker that gave me didn't, I didn't use no tracking app, no nothing.
Oh, then he was probably spoofing it.
Yeah.
It's not hard to do.
Yeah, and they were calling me. It's so funny. They were calling me from the same number, the DHL number, the 1-800 number from DHL, and that number, it's like when you call it, you just get press 1, press 2, whatever it is, So it's impossible for them to call me from that number.
Right.
Yeah.
But, another thing, Pam Transport and DHL. I'm not picking on them either, but they should care that people are committing fraud in their name. Because that can ruin their credit rating.
And I heard Landstar is getting a whole bunch of them too. They got
good for Landstar. Good for Landstar. I don't feel a damn bit sorry for them because they're one of the biggest scammers in the industry.
Yeah, they are.
Allegedly, in my opinion. We're still going to throw that in there because it might be litigious. They will double broker the crap out of loads, and I don't feel a bit sorry for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they shouldn't. Nobody should be running a scam on. Nobody should be running a scam on anybody.
Yeah, and it's funny. Yesterday I was trying to get a load, from Michigan to Ohio. To Florida, and the rate is, it should be $3,000. So when I called, the broker, I think I forgot what company it was. I forgot what broker company it was. But when I called them, she's like, okay, me. As I was talking to her, she's like, somebody offered her $1,800 to do that same load. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it for 18. She's like, okay, fine, and clicked in my head, no trucker's gonna do a load, from Michigan to Florida for $1,800.
They might.
Most of it's going for fuel.
They might.
I don't know who's.
Never underestimate truckers, man. Never underestimate truckers.
I'd rather park my truck because it's gonna cost me a whole lot to repair it than $1,800 if I get. I'm not doing it for that price.
You're right.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, I was taking a cut too at $3,000. Because fuel is pretty high up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the minute she told me $1,800, that's what clicked in my head. Somebody's calling her from overseas, taking that load. They're gonna end up selling to a trucker, for $3,000, but not paying them shit at the end of it.
But I've been screaming it from the rooftops for weeks and months now, and unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. Fran says they're not doing anything because you have to you're contacting the wrong people. You have to contact the Attorney General, and that's who deals with that type of stuff. But here's the problem, Fran. What are you gonna? Attorney General they can't do anything about it either. These people aren't even in this country. They're not going to chase them to Pakistan for a $6,000 bill.
Yep.
They're just not. That's like saying take it to the Supreme Court. Well, they get 50,000 cases a year. They hear about 12 of them. We need to put a stop to the brokerages that are outside of this country, and that's not racist. It's not bigoted. It's not what do you call it, xenophobic? Is that the right word?
100% right.
It's the fact of there is no consequence. You can't do anything about it, and they will. This issue is going to get worse. It's not going to get better, because a year ago, they might have just operated as a legit broker and paid you and made all kinds of money. Because they can't make money right now, they have to scam. or they're not going to be in business. The scamming's going to get worse.
And you're 100% right. And then like Landstar, whenever you call them, they all you can tell they're all from
Ukraine.
Asia
Like 70% of their agents are from Ukraine.
Yeah, so it's like when you call, even when they call you and they have like a Ukrainian accent or Eastern European accent or Indian accent, you don't kind of doubt it because most of their agents have that kind of so you have no way of telling it's the validity of it. You know what I'm saying?
But at least with Landstar, they're a U.S. based company and they can be held to pay.
Yep.
Like you could go to Jacksonville and sue them. You could go to Rockford, Illinois, and sue them. These places never even had a U.S. presence. They rent there's these mailboxes, etc., places and little strip malls and office buildings all over in California where you can rent one and never appear. There's no phone line, there's no nothing. It's just an address. You get your BOC3 and you're in business.
Yep. But the thing is, Adam, when you start your MC, you got to go through so many hoops. You got to jump. You got to they got to verify everything's legit. Everything's 100. How are they doing it from overseas?
I can do it by the end of the day, honestly. Especially for a brokerage, because there's no assets. Do it by the end of the day. To be perfectly honest with you, it's not hard enough. And a $75,000 bond is not enough. To be perfectly honest with you, it's not enough. 100,000 is not enough. I don't know how much is enough, honestly. I don't have a number in mind, but $75,000, you burn through that in days if you're a successful brokerage.
Yep.
And that's a hard one to catch because you go on the load board and see all the bottom feeding brokers. We all know who they are. It's names you don't hear until something like this, and they're posting their loads for $1 a mile, whatever. It's easy to know not to do business with them. But what you are talking about, 9.5 out of 10 people wouldn't have caught.
And I'm telling you, Adam, I just got lucky.
I'm not sure they wouldn't have slipped it by me unless it started thinking, because I'm not the one in the truck looking at the bill of lading, looking at a lot of different things like you were. I might not have seen all that. Congratulations to you for doing a great job.
I'm telling you, I got lucky, and I went inside. I kind of got the load. I went inside the shipper's office, and I was talking to the shipper. I was like, do you guys do loads with them? He's like, yeah, we do loads all the time. So even the shipper didn't know.
Yeah, they just thought they were giving the load to Robinson, right?
Yep, they thought they were. No, that was recently this load. The DHL. Okay. They thought they were giving it to the DHL. Yeah, so they had no idea. They're like, yeah, we deal with this broker. And the broker they originally dealt with was a great broker. As soon as I called him, he's like, I'm going to cancel with these guys. He canceled with them. He gave me the load. And he, raised up my rate too, so he gave me a better rate for the load. He's like, he's a wonderful guy, so he's, even though he's a broker, he's one of the good ones, I guess.
Right.
So.
Yeah, good on him. And you mind saying what company that was?
It's ATSI, I think, out of Lakeland, Florida.
Hey.
And the person's Alan Lyle. He's the president. Wonderful guy. The minute he found out, he's like, hey, look, keep the shipment with you. He's like, I'm going to cancel through whoever I booked it to, and I'm going to report them. He's like, because the company that took it from me, they're supposed to do it themselves. They're a trucking company. He's like, they're not supposed to double book.
Oh, so they did have trucks.
Yep. So it's a trucking company, I guess. And they didn't do the load for him. What they did is they sold it to me. They made fake bills of lading or rate confirmation, and
so they probably didn't even have a brokerage authority. They just picked a broker's name out of the blue and said we're gonna. Oh, they're scumbags.
And they got a hold of rate confirmations from DHL, PAM, Landstar.
They probably hauled loads for them before.
Yep.
Photoshop.
Yep. They Photoshop it. They send it to you. Nobody knows it's better, basically. So you just end up finding out when you don't end up getting paid 90 days later. You call them, what's going on? How come I didn't get paid yet? And then you find out that you didn't do a load for PAM or, Landstar or whatever it is. Yep.
Freaking
so
scumbags.
I do recommend, Adam, that anybody that did book a load, confirm, through the company itself, call the broker themselves, can't call Landstar or whatever broker the rate confirmation says, and confirm it with them. Is this load legit? Is this fake? And sadly, we have to do this.
So what you're saying is if you book a load and you believe you're booking a load from DHL,
Call DHL.
instead, don't call the number on the RateCon. Find a different number for DHL. Find their headquarters or something, and just
Yep.
get patched through to brokerage department and say, "Hey, is
Yep.
this a legit load?"
And that's what I was told by C.H. Robinson too. That next time you get a load, follow these steps. Call the broker and confirm that it is them, because they had a fake rate confirmation with a fake number. So when you call them, you're even the emails, what they were doing is they were using it
like Gmail. You can make any
trucking.com.
Yeah.
So they're using fake
like domains.
Yeah. I don't know how
Unbelievable.
they're pretty good, to be honest with you. They make it seem legit, And they were calling me back too. They were calling me back, threatening me. Oh, I'm gonna report you're holding our load hostage and stuff like that. I'm like, you go report whatever you want to report. Say whatever you want to say. I don't have your load.
Please do, because they'll have to use their real name.
Yeah, they're gonna report. I'm like, report it. I don't care if they report it or not. It's I'm like, I don't have the load. And the thing is, I could have screwed them over. I could have took the load and said I didn't take anything. How are they gonna prove I took it? They can't prove anything.
Your signature on the bill of lading, but
let them go find whoever that is, and they knew that too. That's what I felt. I felt like they were thinking I'm gonna screw them over or something, but I'm not gonna screw over the shipper. I'm not gonna screw over the receiver.
Too bad you couldn't get the name of the trucking company.
The trucking, I wish I did, but I guess for privacy issues or them thinking I'm gonna go after them. They can't. For if anything were to happen, they'd be the ones to blame. So. And I told you, I talked to the FBI. I sent complaints. I told them exactly what's going on. So I hope somebody does something about it.
You would think FBI would be on it, because that's like that's wire fraud.
Yep.
They're big on the wire fraud, right? It's like mail fraud.
It is.
All kinds of things.
And the thing is, it's not in a certain state. It's all over the country, so it's a federal offense.
Crossing state lines, yeah.
Yep, crossing state lines.
Interstate commerce.
Let's say, Adam, they're doing 1%. Let's not say they're doing 20%. 1%. That's billions of dollars a year. They're scamming. They're not scamming, hundreds or thousands or billions.
Man, I could be so rich.
Yeah.
If you didn't have any morals, how easy would it be to be rich?
Yeah, truck. You'd be a millionaire in 3 months. You'll be a millionaire in 3 months. All you got to do is, do what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they can sleep at night, doing that. But the thing is, they're doing it to old ladies. They're doing it to, they're doing it to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Just sitting here and going through my head how easy this would be to do.
Yep.
So you use FourKites, right, for tracking. FourKites will supply you a link. You can share that link with anybody. I could share it with you, and you could see where my driver is, even though you have nothing to do with the load. Photoshop, you just change a couple phone numbers on RateCon. Change an you don't even have to change an address. Doesn't matter. Then you're not going to pay their bill anyway. Man, not only that, but if you get direct deposit, you gave them your banking information. They could probably tag your bank account and something, make up a fake ID. They have all your information, your tax ID number. They could identity fraud you. My God, the money would never stop rolling in.
Yep. It's easy money. And I guess it spiked up in the past 3 months. When they seen the rates going up, they're just, and that's what I'm thinking. The only reason loads or rates would drop down so low is because people are taking them at that price. And I never talked to a trucker that's willing to take a load at a loss. Just paying for basically for their diesel or for just for the expenses. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right. Trust me, I'm not saying it's right.
No.
So, what did your factoring company say? They give you any guidance or their opinion?
Yep. She sent me Excel sheet. One of their carriers, made a fake brokers, but she's like, she was surprised too. She was extremely surprised. She's like, I've never heard of the scam. She's like, I've heard of, brokers, starting up a brokerage and then not paying. But this is on a whole new level.
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is a new one to me.
Yep.
I mean, I was all over the fake the scammer thing, but this is a new one that I haven't heard of.
Yep. And to be honest with you, I've been trying to get the word out. I've called Oida I called, for them to, at least
They
warn the
won't care.
drivers.
There's nothing in it for them.
They're supposed to be for the trucker, for
They're
the owner
not.
operator.
They're for them. A
If,
Nastic is getting to
they
be the
do
same
this,
way.
at least, they're helping, however many truckers from getting scammed. That's better than everything else they're doing, to be honest with you. Because
Well,
at a loss, if I'm losing, 14, 15 grand, that's a big hit.
Here's what I'm going to do, and I guarantee it'll be more than OIDA's ever going to do about it. I'm going to cut this section out of this live stream, and I'm going to post it as its own video. And anybody in here that has the ability, share it on Facebook, share it in trucking groups, share it anywhere you can, and we will have this YouTube thing we got going on. It has a bigger effect than anything is ever gonna. And
that's
share it out.
That's why I contacted you, Adam, because I want to get it out there. I want to warn drivers. I don't want drivers,
And that, it makes me mad too, because there's people out here trying to do things the right way, like scratching and clawing. So okay, we're doing this brokerage thing, trying to get some traction, and we've talked about all the reasons. If everybody's probably seen the live streams, whatever, what we're doing, everybody knows. Do you know how hard it is to compete against that as a broker? Like, I can't. How can I book a load from a shipper or somebody who wants their freight moved when I'm competing against that?
Yep.
Because they'll do the same thing to a shipper. They'll run that scam on anybody, and we'll take that load for $1.50 a mile. I can't take it for $1. I can't move it for that. It hurts everybody that's trying to do things legit.
Yeah.
It really does. And we can have more of an effect doing this than you'll ever get any action out of state. Say they don't. They're not for us.
Oh.
The limiters right now. They don't care about us. To us and against us than helping us.
And we're just I guess we're just little fish, Whatever they're getting out of us is very minimal compared to what they're getting out of the big guys. That's why they're regulating everything for their benefit, not for us. They don't care about the owner operator, even though I don't know. It's
man.
To be honest with you,
I'm so mad right now. Like, I'm so mad. First off, credit where credit is due. Was it ATSI? You said was the brokerage out of Florida.
Yep. Let me get to the name exactly.
Immediately, without prompting, did the right thing. Is that a safe thing to say?
Yep, 100%.
Okay. So hats off to them.
Yep, out of Lakeland, out of Brandon, Florida.
Okay, so hey, you see a load from ATSI, you call them up and tell them, hey, I'm taking this load because you guys do the right thing.
Yep.
And then hats off to you, man. Like, seriously, that was some serious PI stuff you did there. I'm telling you, 9.5 people out of 10 wouldn't have caught that, and maybe even more. Like, I'm not sure I would have caught it. And I look at these things. What prompted you to investigate? It was kind of the conversation you had on the phone. Hey, if that was a click and go, right? You never would have caught that because you weren't talking to somebody, were you?
Yep. And the whole, as I'm talking to him, he seemed kind of, I don't know. It was the whole thing was fishy. Something didn't seem right. So I spent, I was at the shipper for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and the whole time I was, looking up numbers for DHL, trying to contact them, trying to make sure it is from DHL. And sadly, DHL, you can't get a hold of them.
Yeah. They're big. Yeah.
They're huge. You can't get a hold of anybody. So I had to, go different routes just so I can figure it out. And I picked up the load, as I'm doing it. I don't want to make the shipper wait. And then when I got the bill of lading, I noticed, the broker's information on there, ATSI. So I'm like, let me call him and see what the deal is. And right away, he's like, okay, you just stop the truck. Everything's good. Don't worry about it. He's like, I'll make sure you're happy. You're going to take the load regardless, whatever you need. I know you're taking the loss on this, but, he paid me out of his pocket just to make up for, for the loss. So he did a wonderful job, to be honest with you. He's great.
Well,
me and him split the difference.
Hats off to you for handling it, right? You still did your job. You worked with ATSI. You did the right things. Top Dog says credit checks. I don't know. A credit check wouldn't have caught this because you would have been credit checking DHL, and DHL is going to come back squeaky clean.
Yep. I did credit check DHL. I made sure, but yeah, they're squeaky clean, and Pam is squeaky clean. if you, no matter what you do, checking on that company, you're gonna get, good reviews or good ratings or whatever. But it's not them. It's somebody
Yeah.
just, I don't know if they got a bank account overseas. I don't know how they're doing this, where we can't do anything about it. And I got one of the scammers' numbers out of Pam. I don't know if you want me to give you the number.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
said, oh,
also, you could say, well, somebody would catch this before they paid that scam brokerage. Well, in today's world of quick pay, you turn in a signed, legit, legible bill of lading. You turn it into the fake broker. Fake broker turns it into ATSI. ATSI, okay, clean bills. We got a signature. We're gonna quick pay that guy. He agreed to 3-4%. That scammer don't care about 3-4% off of 100% profit.
yep. And credit to C.H. Robinson, they did have, they identified him as a scammer, and they held all payments.
Good.
So credit when credit is due. So yeah, they did. They held all the payments, and they're waiting for the real shipper or the real, carriers to call them so they can pay them. So yeah, they kind of did a good thing on that, that part. So they kind of identified him, and they stopped everything, all the payments. So he didn't get paid my load, basically. That's why I ended up getting paid for that load, and I got lucky.
Man,
Yeah.
man, I'm so glad you were in here today. I have your email marked as unread in my email, and I've been meaning to get back to you. What I was gonna tell you is, hey, next time I'm on live, come in, and you just did it anyway. So that's awesome. MN Trucking just joined, wants to repeat the scam. I'm gonna cut this out of this live stream and post it as a video, and encourage everybody to share it out, because this is the biggest effect we'll have on this scam, because nobody else is going to give a good dang about it. So the people that you talked to on the phone, Top Dog is asking, do you think were they Russian, Ukrainian, were they like Pakistani,
They had an Eastern European accent
Eastern European? Okay.
for DHL, but for the PAM load, he had like a Indian accent.
Okay.
So it was all over, basically.
Something else too is everybody's aware of all these dispatch services that popped up over the last 2 years when things were so hot. They're all struggling now, but guess what they have? They have information out the wazoo. They have hundreds of rate cons, and they have hundreds of carriers' information profiles, including bank accounts, routing numbers, EIN numbers. Because if you're hiring them as a dispatcher, you have to transact. You give them all your information, and then they have hundreds of rate cons that they could spoof. They can steal information from. Think of how easy it would be for them to now go start a brokerage, a scam brokerage, or even a legit brokerage, and just haul for nothing, because they know what rates have been, what they are. They see 50 rate cons a day, right?
Yep.
These people, they're not above that. I think it's one of the biggest problems in the industries right now, and the FMCSA needs to do something about it, but they don't care.
And also, Adam, what they're doing is, how they send you a carrier setup, and you're supposed to fill out, your bank information. I never do that, thank God, But if I would have filled out my bank information, they would have pulled anything they wanted out of my bank account, and I would have been none the wiser, basically.
Even if they couldn't pull it from your bank account, they have literally everything they need in there to steal your identity.
Yeah. And I want to give credit to CCT Factoring. They're wonderful. They also fully understood. She started making calls for me. She, they went above and beyond.
Okay.
So everybody's working, was working with me, basically, not against me. Not I got lucky. I'm telling you, the only problem I had is the lack of empathy from the people I'm supposed to get empathy from, the people that's supposed to help truckers, DOT, Department of Traffic, and the FBI. I felt like they can care less, and they're supposed to be watching out for these scammers. And
man, if the rules and laws are in place, they are there.
They're not forced.
They only choose to use the ones that are in their favor. It's like that with just about everything, honestly. What good is 50 more laws going to do when they don't abide by the 5,000 that are already in place? So why even have them, right? You can make that claim about a lot of different things, but man, this has got me so mad.
And I'm telling you, Adam, I was following this for about 3-4 days, trying to call people, trying to, see if I can have any effect on this. And sadly, I couldn't. Thank God I got in contact with you. If I'm helping, a few thousand
Yeah.
truckers, that's perfect. So as long as
Well,
people
it
are
hits
aware,
close. Yeah, it hits close to home for me because, like I said, we're trying to do something like that, and in a lot of eyes, it will never be perceived as legit, no matter what it is, because of people like this have ruined it.
yep.
And then, I have people that I have on my payroll that I'm responsible for paying. And if a scam like this got run on me, I probably wouldn't catch it because I don't see every aspect. I see the bill of lading. By the time I see them, it's too late. And I could get pinched in something like this.
And Adam, most bill of ladings don't have no broker information. They don't have
Right.
any of it. So
Right.
and if I show you the rate confirmation I got from Pam, it's 100% legit. It's
Yeah.
got phone numbers,
What
contact, extensions, everything.
what I've thought about doing in our brokerage to prevent something like this, or at least curtail it, is say, okay, I book a load with you on Lawrence's trucking. Is your name Lawrence? How do you pronounce it?
So
Lawrence?
Lawrence, yep.
Lawrence. Okay. If I book a load with Lawrence and I say, Lawrence, you're going to haul this load for me. It's going on your truck. Do me a favor. Go stand by your truck. Take a selfie with you by the name on the side of your truck. Send it to me. That would solve it, right? Or I could say to the shipper, hey, when the guy gets there, go out and tell me the name on the side of his door. It's
Yep.
that simple. That's it. It's done. But people are like, I'm not doing that. Goes, I'm not hauling your load. I ain't doing that. Well, it prevents fraud on a lot of us, right? We could all
Does.
avoid a lot of fraud. It's just like it's kind of like the tracking thing. A lot of people get upset by the tracking. Shippers require it now. It is a no load situation if you will not track. You have to. The shippers require it, but people get upset about it. Now, I agree that if you're on trucking, they should not call you 5 times a day. That's stupid. But just having a simple picture of you standing by the truck showing your company name, or the shipper verifying, hey, let's go out and make sure that's Lawrence's truck.
Yep.
End of story. But people don't want to. They don't want to take 5 seconds out to prevent this kind of fraud.
It's there's unfortunately we got to do a lot more to make sure that this doesn't happen. As carriers and as brokers. And I recommend everybody, no matter who you're getting the load from, make sure you get the number off Google, call the right brokerage, and reconfirm that the load you're getting is through them and it's 100% legit. It's sad we got to do it, but we got to do it.
I suppose we could be asking the shipper too, hey, who did you give this load to? Can I get the name of the broker? Because I suspect this might be double brokered.
Yep. I did that, but most shippers won't give you that.
Right. Yeah.
Most of the people on the docks, they have no idea what's going on. It's somebody higher up that books the loads, and they're doing it from online. They're booking the loads online and other ways. So most of them don't know, and even if they know, they don't care to tell you, as long as their load's getting taken care. Yeah.
And there is a certain amount of this that goes on legitly, because you take DHL, Penske, Ryder, even CH Robinson will do this. XPO, your 3PL companies, and they will give loads to brokers. So I've hauled plenty of loads that were Ryder loads or Penske loads, but hauled them through a broker. Is it double brokered? Yes, but it's a legit double broker because it was agreed to by contract, and everybody knows about it. Everybody agreed to it, and they signed contracts on it. There's that goes on the legit level. So, how do you separate the scam from the legit? Only by following up that process. Even, man, that makes it hard. The fact that does happen legitimately on a legit level also.
It does. It's getting harder for us, every day.
All right, let's everybody just sell everything and give up. Screw it. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, what's the next? I'm being silly, of course. Like, what's next, man? We got enough to freaking worry about. You got to fight every freaking aspect of this thing. Like, fuel's hard enough. Like, freight is hard enough. Staying square with the man is hard enough. and then you keep putting crap like this on. You got to protect yourself from 10 different scams a day. Like, it gets to be more than one man can handle. I mean, I know, like, I don't know about what you do. I assume probably just one truck, right? Or
Yep, one truck.
it's enough, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
You know, when you're home on your days off, you're probably messing with paperwork and trucks all the time.
Yep. Yep. I'm at my truck right now, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Getting a few things done, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Man, well,
so
I'm really sorry that happened to you, but man, I don't think
I'm
you could
glad
have
it
handled
happened
it
to
any
me, man.
better.
I'm glad it happened to me because I got to find out what's going on and then warn other drivers, you know. So I am kind of glad it happened to me, and it kind of worked out. I did, take a little bit of loss, but it kind of worked out in my favor, and I get to warn other drivers so other people don't get screwed.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for bringing it in today. Jeez, man, if you ever anybody is watching, you ever have anything like this happen that you need to get out to other truckers, I am happy to do it. Um, somebody's got to do it. Honestly, I don't know where you'll have. I mean, obviously, Asian Mai would have a bigger effect. Uh, you know, happy to do it too, but none of these associations, none of these government agencies are going to do it.
Uh,
So we got to do it for each other.
yeah, definitely.